to Talking Comics issue 39. We are back once again at Limited Edition Comics with a incredible range, and I am here once again with Zach.
Hello again, guys.
The Hack. That's what you're known
Not
as.
a fan.
Not a fan?
I prefer that comic book guru. If you remember that? Remember that from back in the day? That's what we're going to stick with still.
No, I'm going with The Hack. I quite like that.
Yeah, we'll see.
We've got so many reviews to do this week, and we've got, you've brought up a floppy that you've done that you're going to do with this week.
Yes,
right?
just
Okay.
the one. Just
All
the
right.
one floppy this week.
Do you know what? I'm kind of jealous because I'd like to do it myself. The only issue is that I haven't read it. I just flicked through it because it was to see the artwork. But we'll come to that later. Don't get excited. Let's start the reviews. I have got The Amazing Spider-Man, New Ways to Die, and it is a book that was written by Dan Slott and has
Dan the Man Slott.
Has the artwork of John Romita Jr. in it, and this version also has the .1 comic, I believe, that was done by Adi Granov.
Okie dokie.
And I know you guys are a big fan of Adi Granov.
Of course.
Right? Doing all your covers. And I have to say, after I did the last one and I spoke about it and I said that half the book was good and half the book was bad, and if you remember, if you don't remember, guys, go back and have a check out. It was Craven's First Hunt, and that was the book before. This is the sequel book, and it is all about the birth of antivenom. You read it?
No.
It's
No,
really,
I haven't. I know about the birth of antivenom.
Okay, it's really about Eddie Brock more than it is about antivenom.
Yeah, which is what antivenom is like.
Yeah, because Eddie Brock lost his Venom suit.
Yep.
Okay, and
Who had it at this point?
Oh, because
Was it McGargan?
Yeah, McGargan. That's right. Yeah,
The Scorpion.
yes, the Scorpion. And actually, you reminded me during the book, the Scorpion ends up getting his suit back because McGargan loses the ability to use the Venom suit because of anti-venom. So that's a really cool. There's some really cool stuff that goes on in this book. And actually, I think this is the first time I feel that Dan Slott has found his feet. It's really, I was really impressed. John Romita Jr., I love his art anyway. I'm not going to say you either like it or you don't, and to be honest with you, if you don't like it, I don't care. I like it, and you should like it as well. End of. You're all wrong, and I'm right.
No, before you came on camera, you looked at the latest Captain America cover and went, well, that's the worst John Romita cover I've ever seen, and I thought it was terrible. So,
Oh, he's right. Okay, so what? So there was one bad Captain America cover he did. Every man is entitled to one bad cover, all right?
Okay.
In general, JRJR is the man. In
Right,
general.
fair enough,
All right? All right. But look, this book is awesome, guys. If you ever get a chance to read the run on Spider-Man, even if you don't like the run on Spider-Man, pick up this Dan Slott book. I promise you, The Birth of Antivenom is one of the better books that I've read since Brand New Day. In fact, it's the best book I've read since Brand New Day.
well, it's funny because I was picking up Brand New Day and I dropped it just before this arc
Do you know what? I don't blame you, to be fair.
because it was just mediocre.
It was just
Spider-Man.
really
It
mediocre
wasn't-
Spider-Man. There was a Mark Waid couple of comics, and that was the books that I spoke about last time that
Yeah.
were actually good in the last one, and I really didn't enjoy the Dan Slott part of the book. But this time, Dan Slott has really found his feet, like I said, and you guys should check it out. All right? So, what am I going to give you first? What would you want?
It's up to you. Surprise me.
Do you want to have an argument, or do you want to have a moment of?
Come on, have an argument.
Let's have an argument. Come on then, let's do it. Go on.
The Walking Dead Volume 18, the latest one from Robert Kirkman and Charlie Adler, obviously. It collects 103 to 108. What did you think of it, Ellie?
You're asking me what I thought.
Yeah, what
about
did you think of it?
You're reviewing it. No, don't ask me. I'll tell you my opinion. Don't you worry.
Oh, okay.
You're getting my opinion.
I hated it.
Yeah.
I thought it was rubbish. I thought it was such mindless, violent dribble. Well, I love The Walking Dead. I've loved it the whole way through. It's been fantastic. We all know it's one of the greatest comics ever. I thought this one was just, it had that Kick-Ass 2 sense about it, of just mindless violence, not a lot going on. And the bad guy, he's so over the top, disgustingly bad, that it just did absolutely nothing for me.
He's so bad that you feel that it's unbelievably bad.
Yeah, it's just it's a silly kind of thing.
I mean, do you know what? I feel that this, and I'm going to put my 2 penny in because that's what I do. I'm gonna tell you that this book is a build-up book, and it's a clever build-up book because it has put in a lot of subtle character nuances that I don't think that you have taken in first time.
I agree. It's a build-up book.
Yep.
I agree. It does build up to the next story.
But it's about his son. That's where the interesting part lies.
Of course, but
Okay.
It doesn't bother me. Like,
No?
it's building up to the next story, but it's made me not care what the next story is because of how bad I thought it was.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't think. Well, yes, you're right. It's a build up to the next story, but I don't think it was about that. I think it was. And you know, guys, comment in the comment section below and let Zach know that he's wrong or that I'm wrong. But it's Zach that's. But just put something in the comment section below. It's all about his son and how and what he's being told by these people about the way he looks and the way he acts and his abilities to do things. You know, he should, in this book, you will find a point where you feel that if this guy was to carry on acting the way he is, the bad guy, he should just kill the son, right? He should have just killed him, but he doesn't. Spoiler alert, okay? He doesn't, and there is some funky stuff that goes on in here, and I thought it was genius.
Okay, I agree up to a point. I agree it is going to evolve into something better, but I didn't enjoy reading it. Okay. I didn't like reading it. I thought it was rubbish. But
would you suffer it to get to the next part? Are you going to pick up the next volume? Am I going to be sitting here with volume 19
no.
and Zach's going to be like, no, I'm just not reading it anymore. I'm dropping Walking Dead.
See,
is that what you're saying?
I'm going to pick it up just because I have to pick it up because I'm a collector. But to be honest, I could not care less anymore.
QED,
I have fallen out of love.
QED one for me. I'm just saying. I'm going to take a deep breath for this one. Wait a minute.
Brace yourself, people.
Yeah,
brace yourself.
I would. It kills me.
I've had a sample of this.
I'll try not to bend it because it's New Bell's copy. This is the Mighty Thor, book 1. By Fraction and Koipel. I'm going to start with a positive because I like to start things with a positive and end with a positive so I can make a shit sandwich, right?
Yes. The art is lovely.
The artwork is beautiful. Koipel does a fabulous job, and I really think that they have nailed the artwork. I like their version of Silver Surfer. It looks lovely, it shines, and it works.
That's the I haven't read it yet comment. The art is lovely because I haven't read it yet.
Have you not read it? No. No, I don't. Do you know what? Well, let's come to that. Fraction. This is a message from me to you, Fraction.
But you like Fraction. Last episode you had a big rant of how good Fraction is.
Do you know what? You're right. But this is Fraction at his worst. Okay? This is the second worst book that Fraction has ever written. Well, you know what the first one was.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, well, you want to tell
Fear itself.
Fear itself was a diabolical cluster.
Maybe you shouldn't do 4 Fraction. Like.
I just think that Fraction and Hawkeye, he gets the idea of personalising the character and doing something special with him, but Thor is a god, and I just think that Fraction is actually taking the mickey out of the reader and the characters themselves. The way that and I'll come to this, right? The scripting in this book is worrying. There are some storyline elements that actually make me really wonder what was going on here. Did he even care or try to do something with the characters, or did he just think this was cool?
So what is the story?
So the story is as follows. The tree that carries all the 7 worlds of the Asgardian blah 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 blah, you know, it just goes on, right? Happens to have been split. Okay, the tree's been split and they need to repair the tree and they don't know what to do. So what happens is as follows, is that Thor decides, well, it's not Thor's decision, but he's been commanded to go into the tree and get a seed. Okay, and the seed which sits at the bottom of the tree is at like some kind of super-powered thing that's been there since the beginning of time.
It sounds like your classic Thor story.
It is, and you know, it feels like a classic Thor story until he gets cut. So he gets cut, and he's kind of got this
physically cut.
Yeah, he gets physically hurt in the abdomen somewhere, and you know, it's unexplained why it's not healing properly. No one cares. What happens is that Galactus decides that he's coming for this seed, because if he eats the seed, because of its energy, he might never have to eat another planet again.
That old chestnut.
That old chestnut. And there's obviously he sends Silver Surfer to go and collect the seed before he turns up, or to give warning. And to be honest with you, there is a big battle between Thor and Silver Surfer that takes quite a few comics, and the scripting's just a joke. Like, Thor says stupid things like, "You silver skin, you know, you silver naked skin guy," or something, and Silver Surfer saying to Thor, "You hammer wielding idiot," you know.
Do you know, I think that's just like a comedy element in the book.
It is a comedy element, but it's not funny, because
I bet you some people quite like it.
just look. Do you know what? The story is really serious, and if he thinks he's running a joke alongside it, then fine. And I get, like, I'm the first person to get a joke. If you haven't noticed that from the television, you know, the series that we run, then then you're missing something. I love jokes, but this just wasn't Silver Surfer, and it wasn't Thor, and it wasn't either of those two characters, and I was really disappointed. Really disappointed. Don't pick this up. Don't read it for the artwork. Do yourselves a favour. Do not carry on. The only thing I would say is that this leads into something quite important, which is called Journey into Mystery, after the second volume of this.
Was this before Fear Itself, or was this after Fear Itself?
This is before Fear Itself, I suppose, because they haven't received the hammers. Or is it after? I don't know. I don't actually... It's in Fear Itself, because it's got Fear Itself, Invincible Iron Man. No, I'm not too sure. Maybe I think it's before. So, my intuition is that it's before.
So this is the build-up to Fraction's worst story ever.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure about whether it comes before, but in my opinion, it probably does, and it's just awful. Guys, don't pick it up. Do yourself a favour. Fraction, one of Fraction's worst moments. If you want to read a Fraction book, go and read Hawkeye. End of.
My final review, the one floppy of the issue, is Savage Wolverine 6, with artwork by Joe Mad, the mighty Joe Mad. We love Joe Mad. Everyone loves Joe Mad.
I love Joe Mad.
So, he loves Joe Mad. He doesn't love anything. He loves Joe
Mad.
And written by Zeb Wells.
Yeah.
Who we know, solid writer. He did a good few Mega Spider-Man stories.
Yes.
It was the Shed story about the lizard killing his son, which was really good.
Yeah.
I loved this issue. I just thought it was fantastic. There's an editor's note in the start of it where it says this comic takes place, we'll say, roughly before the last October, so everybody don't get all out of sorts about continuity. Which I think is a fantastic little note, because it just lets you enjoy the comic for what it is. Yeah. And it's just a really solid story. It's really well illustrated. It's got Spider-Man, not superior Spider-Man, it's got classic Peter Parker Spider-Man being very funny, as he always is, trying to hit on Elektra. Of course, she's not having any of it. And honestly, just a fantastic issue. The art was brilliant, the book was brilliant.
I'm desperate to read this, but I'm desperate. Like, I'm so holding back because I want the trade. I'm a trade person, and I want the trade, but I
don't think you'll like the trade.
I'm fighting it.
They're releasing the trade is with Avenging Spider-Man 1 to 3 and those issues as well in one trade.
Why would they do that to me?
So I was about to say, I don't think you're gonna like the trade.
What's wrong with these people? Why?
Well, it's gonna be like a Joe Mad love fest. You should just get it anyway.
I probably will, but I don't understand. Why can't you just put it out in...
Yeah, I kind of think that. Like, just keep it with your Savage Wolverine trade.
I want a Savage Wolverine trade. Is that weird? Am I being normal here? Or is it they're the one? You're being weird. Marvel, stop being weird and bring out Savage Wolverine trade and leave everything else alone.
It depends whether you're a Joe Mad fan or a story that you're reading fan.
I like Avenging. But Avenging Spider-Man, they brought out one already, a trade. I've got it. I've got a whole
I know you do. I don't understand it.
I don't understand.
It's a Zeb Wells Joe Mad collection.
Look, I love Joe Mad. I love Joe Mad. I just do. I don't care. I love Joe Mad. And I would pick it up just for Joe Mad.
Honestly though, guys, check out that issue. Anything Joe Mad, Zeb Wells, just buy.
Yeah. Guys, thank you so much for staying tuned. Thank you for staying tuned.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for staying tuned and watching issue 39. We'll be back once again in 2 weeks with Zach, but next week with Rich for another issue of Talking Comics.